Okay, let's get started. I would like everyone to get welcome to learn more about our Master of Science in Business Analytics. And let me start with a very brief description. What is business analytics? In a nutshell and in a simplistic term, it is using data and turning it into insights and useful information. Regarding today's agenda, I would like to introduce the faculty, and then I would like to talk a little bit about what is the Masters in Business Analytics entails. We will describe it. We will talk specifically more about the program, what are the courses, and what are the skills you're going to be learning in the Master of Science. And after the conclusion, hopefully this should not take more than 10 minutes. I'll be happy to entertain any questions. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Nabil Tamimi. I'm the chair of the Operations and Information Management Department, and we offer the business analytics out of our department. I have been at the University of Scranton for about 28 years, and I teach operations management, management science, analytics, etc. Also, I have my colleague, Dr. Yi-Bai Lee, and he is our resident expert in business analytics and in data mining, and he is a very well-accomplished colleague. So any type of questions that would tend to be overly technical, I will be soliciting his help in answering them. Just quick introduction. Our faculty who teach in the program all have terminal PhD degrees, and some of them actually have dual PhD degrees. They are from Penn State University, Temple University, Wisconsin-Madison, Virginia Tech. We also have an executive from Bell Corporation who actually teaches one of our courses, and he would be able to bring in a lot of real-life experience into the course. A couple of days ago, I actually did a Google search, and the Google search, it was very simplistic. What are the top 10 skills employers are seeking in their applicants? And you're going to look at the right-hand side column. You're going to see the top skills that always emerged: decision-making, computer skills, critical thinking, problem-solving skills, data analysis, data skills. Now, why did I mention that? Because the Master of Science in Business Analytics will actually help you in gaining these computer skills and the decision-making skills. Why should you pursue a Master's in Business Analytics? As we all know, companies collect vast amount of data from social media, from e-commerce transactions, from sensors, and obviously what we need to do, we need to analyze this data and make informed decisions out of it. The Master of Science in Business Analytics will help you to do so. So let me start by talking briefly about our program. Our program is comprised of 10 courses, 30 credits, and it focuses on 3 key skills related to business analytics: the descriptive analytics, and in a nutshell, the descriptive analytics is basically the interpretation of historical data to better understand changes that have occurred in the business. Typically, this is done through data visualization, charts, graphs, etc. The next key skill in the field of analytics, we call it predictive analytics. Predictive analytics will help us in answering what might happen. And obviously, it uses data, statistical algorithms, machine learning techniques to identify the likelihood of future outcomes. We call that predictive analytics. And the last pillar in business analytics, we call it prescriptive analytics. And in a simplistic term, this will help us in defining or understanding what actions should a company take. In other words, is going to help us in providing guidance. The next few slides will show you few examples that are related to each of those three pillars. What happened? Obviously, we rely on data visualization, and the key course in our Master of Science is going to be relying on the use of the software Tableau. And as you see in the overhead slide, a picture is worth 1,000 words. What should happen? I'm just giving you a bunch of examples, if you will, so that you can relate to it. Organizations actually use that all the time. How? I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. Association rules are nothing but machine learning algorithms that help grocery stores, for example, in determining what products people buy together. Just going to give you an example. If we are finding that people are buying milk and eggs together, you're going to say, you know what? How about we shelf them next door to each other? Or how about we put a discount on one of these items to increase our sales? Another example that all of us can relate to is the recommendation systems employed by Amazon and Netflix. If you have ever watched a video, most likely you're going to see a recommendation from Netflix telling you people who watched this video, they also watched these other videos. Amazon.com always uses a recommendation system. And what I did actually, just yesterday, I went to the Amazon.com website and I pretended I am interested in the Galaxy S21. And look at the recommendation it provided me with. People who bought the Samsung S21, they also bought the shockproof cover. They also bought the camera lens protector. All right. So these are based on the association rules algorithms. The last pillar, if you will, is what should happen. And in what should happen, if you recall, we are interested in getting advice. Again, we're going to be using data to, just going to give you an example. Let's say if I look at the last one, let's say I want to invest $5,000 each year in the stock market. Well, we know the stock market is quite volatile, right? We don't know what the return is going to be on each stock daily, monthly, yearly. So guess what? We can actually build a model that will tell me if I invest $5,000 each year and we have some type of return that is unknown, let's say the return could be anywhere between 1% and 10%. Guess what? The machine learning algorithm will actually tell me in X years, would I have $1 million? What is the probability of running out of cash upon retirement? All of these are very sophisticated algorithms and techniques that can help me in answering what should happen, prescribing an action. And I'm giving you other examples. These machine learning algorithms can actually help me in classifying, will a loan applicant, will he or she default on the loan or not? Will a patient get an infection? Will an online transaction be classified as fraudulent or legitimate? All of these we can actually do through the machine learning algorithms. Coming back to what we teach, we have 5 required courses: the Intro to Business Analytics, Data Mining, Database Management System, Business Intelligence, and then we have the Big Data Capstone project that is taught by our Dell executive. And then you get to pick 5 courses from the following listing. So one is analytics using R, business forecasting, simulation, visualization, ethics, applied statistics, and analytics using Python. These were carefully selected actually via feedback from the industry, from executives, and we reached out to them. We said, what are the skills that employers are looking for in a Master of Science program? Based on that, we designed the program with these courses in mind. One question you may have, what type of software I'm going to be learning? And this slide that you are seeing, it shows you the different software that you're going to be utilizing based on the course that you're going to be taking. Rapid Miner, this is used in data mining. Crystal Ball, this is an Oracle-based software for simulation. Python, data mining. R for data mining and statistical analysis. Tableau, data visualization. SQL, database management system, and the software Minitab, which is typically used for statistical analysis. We've talked about the capstone course taught by the Dell executive, and you will get the opportunity to create a smart city as part of the project, and you're going to be exposed to cool concepts related to Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, data lakes, among others. One question you may have, what type of job title I may be having upon graduating? Some titles may be reflected as business analyst, market research analyst, a consultant, data analyst, operations research analyst, or a management analyst. In terms of salaries, these are some median annual salaries. So for a business intelligence analyst, the median is about 78,000. For a management analyst, the median currently is about 83,610. And don't forget also, a lot of companies who are doing marketing campaigns, they are looking for people with business analytic skills to make sure that their campaigns are most effective using the different machine learning algorithms you're going to be learning. So a typical median salary is about 132,000, and you're going to see the top 10% earning a hefty salary of about $208,000. Before I get into the admission requirements, one question you may have, how long will the program take to complete? As I stated, the program is comprised of 10 courses, 30 credits, and the degree can be completed with a minimum of 1 year, assuming you're going to be taking 2 courses each semester. And with an average of a year and a half. And this slide that you are seeing, it shows you the different steps that you need to apply in terms of an online application, 3 letters of reference, statement of intent, a professional CV, academic transcripts, and for the non-English speaking students, a TOEFL. And if you do not have some basic knowledge in either statistics, management science, or information systems, you may be required to take 1 credit foundational courses. So if you have no prior exposure to any of these fields, the maximum number of credits that you would be required to take would be 3 credits. And that pretty much actually concludes my presentation. And I will be more than happy to answer any questions anyone has.
So, Dr. Tamimi, some of the questions that we get regularly include, for example, in your estimation, what sets our program apart? What makes us unique from all the other programs that are out there?
That's a good question. Like I mentioned in my presentation, when we devised the Master of Science degree, we actually got a lot of feedback from executives, from the industry, from a variety of professors with expertise in this field. And we asked them what employers are looking for in their applicants. And that is how we devised the program. So I would say what distinguishes this program from the rest are the tools and the techniques that you're going to be learning. For example, if you recall, the software that you're going to be learning in this program is really cutting edge software that a lot of employers are looking for, such as the RapidMiner, such as the Python, the R, Tableau, etc.
Thank you. So for someone that doesn't have any of that background, I know that there are some prerequisite 1 credit modules that will be incorporated into the program. How, and I don't want to say how easy it is for them to, learn these skills, but in your estimation, how do they learn these skills without having a background?
That's a good question. So I would like to emphasize that this program is an applied business analytics degree. And that is really what distinguishes it from a pure data science degree that is probably offered from a computer science program, where the emphasis is on coding. You will learn coding, but it is really taught from the bottom up, if you will. We do not expect you to be knowledgeable in RapidMiner. The faculty will teach it, as I stated, from the bottom up. The same with Crystal Ball, the same with Python. So the emphasis is on applying these tools.
Okay, thank you. And that brings me to another question that I get all the time would be, what is the difference between business analytics and data analytics?
Sure. So if you recall the business analytics, it's really more from an applied point of view. Like I stated, there is some coding, but we are not creating the machine learning algorithms. We are applying them.
Okay.
So a computer science degree may be offering the data science, and the emphasis is a little bit different. Our program, I would say, is more applied. We're looking at the applications of this software.
Can you also talk about, are there any, like for career changes, are there any like career networking events that Scranton hosts for business analysts?
Yes. So we have a career center at the University of Scranton. And if I'm not mistaken, twice a year, they actually contact a variety of employers, and all students will get an email on the participants. I'm talking which companies are going to be recruiting, and everything is done seamlessly. And you're going to see that we have a variety of companies, from manufacturing to service-oriented companies that are recruiting students. And the way I look at it, in all honesty, all companies collect data. All companies want to derive insights from this data. So whether the company is an accounting firm, it's a manufacturing firm, they are always looking for students with business analytics skills.
Thank you. And I see sometimes, we have a lot of students that are inquire that have a background in this. We have others that are career changes, and I think sometimes they're a little hesitant because they don't have like Tableau or R, any of that software training. And so just trying to help them to overcome those fears. And it sounds like, as you had mentioned, that you're looking at it from an applied standpoint rather than them, actually doing the coding or anything that is more technical that maybe like a computer scientist would be doing.
That is indeed correct. So like I said, there will be some coding, but I won't call it really high intensive coding. The coding is taught bottom up.
And I like what you said too, that the program is so fresh and transformative because you actually went out there to industry to see what it is that businesses need and then developed the curriculum from there. So definitely, it's very trending and it's what businesses are looking for.
And that's what, like one of your prior questions, what distinguishes this program from the rest? And I think that is what makes us unique. We took the three pillars of analytics, the descriptive, prescriptive, etc., and we looked at what are the tools that are needed within each pillar.
Also, I noticed that, or I had a question here. Why is it important that the program carries a STEM designation?
Sure, that's a good question. This STEM designation is really more applied for international applicants, because if it has a STEM designation, if I'm not mistaken, it actually prolongs their stay in the US
Mm.
in terms of internships, etc.
So
So
it
rather than, let's say, finishing the degree and having to leave, it will give them an extension to take internship opportunities that may be available to them. And if I'm not mistaken, it could be an additional 18 months, I believe, from graduation. So this is more of an immigration point of view by designating the program as a STEM.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Now I understand the curriculum and the credits. Can a student accelerate through the program?
Yeah, so the program is comprised of 10 courses, and we accept students on a rolling basis. So they can enroll, let's say, in the summer, in the fall, in the spring, and in every term, we would be offering at least 2 courses. So we have fall 1, we can offer 2 courses there, fall 2, 2 courses, spring 1, spring 2, summer 1, and summer 2. That's when I said with proper planning, the degree can be completed with a minimum of 1 year and possibly an average of 1.5 years.
Looks like that's all the questions I have for this evening. Do you have anything that you would like to close with, Dr. Tamimi?
Not really. Like I said, I think our program is a unique program, and I think it will open a lot of opportunities for students if they enroll in it. And it is unique. It gives them a lot of skills that the industry is looking for in applicants. So we are looking forward for any student who is interested in the program, and they can always reach out to me directly, and we'll be happy to talk to them on one-to-one basis to answer any questions they may have.
That's awesome, because sometimes we do get students that I, suggest maybe referring them to you just for some more specifics regarding the, more of the mechanics of the curriculum. That is your expertise.
That sounds great.
And I'm here this week, so if, certainly I'm available to answer any kind of questions regarding admissions, applications, and the admissions process itself.
All right, great.
Well, thank you, Dr. Tamimi. That concludes our webinar for this evening, and I really appreciate your participation, and it was awesome. Thank you.
Hey, Karen, there's a question in the chat.
Oh, there is.
For applicants that have 4 interviews that I was not at 4 years, but equivalency was evaluated by the agency says West, would that application process be any different?
No.
If the 4 years are equivalent to a Bachelor of Science, I don't foresee this as being a problem, and I will probably have someone from admissions answer this question to make sure that it is accurate from my point of view.
Actually states that it's equivalent to a 4-year bachelor's degree in the US. They should be fine.
I don't believe there are any other questions. So great. Thank you all, and have a great night.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.